Let's talk about what Democrats are doing behind closed doors, because I was able to get my hands on some polling from the firm Blue Labs. This is a polling funded by some Democratic donors, and this kind of project is going on all over the country right now. It looks it's a survey of 15,000 voters in several battleground states, and it shows, first of all, there's a early July polling that has already been reported on showing that President Biden is losing ground to Donald Trump in 14 key states across the country. This includes not only the 5 that Biden flipped against Trump in 2020, that's Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, but in addition, post-debate, it's like Waterloo. He's vulnerable in Colorado. He's vulnerable in Minnesota. He's vulnerable in Maine. He's vulnerable in New Mexico and Virginia and New Hampshire. Now, what this poll did was look at alternatives. First of all, it found that nearly every tested Democrat that this polling firm looked at performs better than the president. This includes Vice President Harris. But the top 4 in these seven battleground states, Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona, Wes Moore of Maryland, Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, and they have a whole complex way of looking at it and whether or not these people can take votes from Trump that Trump is currently winning and bring them back. And those are the top 4. And again, this is just one poll, but this is really indicative of where the Democratic Party is, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 of President Biden's aides, and I assume his immediate family. The Democratic Party is really looking for an alternative.
And so polls like that, other internal polls I've looked at, all the public polling is being forwarded to the White House every day, forwarded to the president's top advisor saying, please read this, because it shows how deep trouble you're in.
Taken right to the shredder.
So let's just look at some of it. Let's just look at some public polling now, to reinforce what Jake was just talking about. This is where we were just after the debate. This is the CNN projection. But because of all that polling, Donald Trump at 272. The light red is lean Republican. The dark red is solid Republican. The gold are toss-ups. Right now, we know, though, that Donald Trump is actually leading here as well. And he's leading here well. Maybe not by a lot. Democrats watching might be complaining, and that he's leading here as well. And he's going to get the congressional district. If the vote was today, he would get all of Nebraska's electoral votes at 2. So there's 302. As Jake just noted, you come over here, there are people who think New Hampshire right now is in play. There are people who think Virginia right now is in play. Arizona is blue here. That's my mistake. Donald Trump is leading there as well. So there's 330, right? Jake also mentioned Colorado. The governor of New Mexico has warned the White House. The governor of Minnesota has warned the White House. Why? Let's look at just some. This is new public polling, 7 battleground states released just today. Forgive me for turning my back. I want to turn this out. Look at the incumbent president's vote share. Arizona, Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Nevada. 42 is the highest the incumbent president gets in vote share in these battleground states. That's a path to big loss, even if Donald Trump can't get to 50 because of the third-party candidates. Look how closely it correlates to the president's approval rating. This is the president's approval rating, 36%, 37% in Arizona, 42% in Georgia, 40% of the vote. You get it. You follow it through. If he cannot get his approval rating to go that way, he can't move that. And that number has been stuck or getting worse since the debate. That's one way to look at it. The other question is, voters are asking, is Biden up to the job? Again, forgive me for turning my back. I just want to stretch this out. Is he too old to be president in these 7 battleground states? 72% in Arizona say yes, 67% in Georgia, 70% in Wisconsin, 70% in Michigan, same in Pennsylvania, close to that 68% in North Carolina, 70% again. That's a lot of Democrats and a lot of independents. That's not just Republicans. You get into the 60s and 70s, you're talking about a lot of the president's own party saying they don't think he is up to the job. How do you change that? And then there's this. What's the number one issue in the country right now? One more time. Sorry again. Just want to stretch this out so you can see it. The percentage of registered voters rating the economy as fair or poor. He's the incumbent. He wants 4 more years. 73% in Arizona. Close to 70% in Georgia, 74% in Michigan, 74% in North Carolina, just below 70% in Nevada, and 73% and 72% respectively in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. He's the incumbent president saying, stay the course, Jake. That's what people in these battleground states think about the economy. That's a tough sell. That is an incredibly hard sell. And these numbers, many Democrats say, this poll was taken over a long period of time. Most Democrats will tell you they're actually worse now. They're worse now. They expect Donald Trump to get a bounce because of what happened in this hall tonight and what will happen for the next 2 nights in this hall. And the Democratic convention is a month away. You want to know why Democrats are, use the term disarray, panic, worried, nervous? Look at that.
Yeah, and you said, how do you turn that around? And I know you meant that as a rhetorical question because the answer is it really hasn't ever been done.
It has never been done. David knows this. Both Davids know this. There's been no incumbent president in our lifetime. Again, Democrats will argue, well, wait, the national polls are a point or two. Some of these state polls are only 3 or 4 points. It's underneath the polls. It's the approval rating. It's, is he up to the job? Is he too old? What people think about the direction of the country and the state of the economy. You need some magic potion to change people's minds on 6 or 8 fundamental questions.